The quantum-fold space rippled like disturbed mercury, parting to reveal the immense bulk of the Zarkon Imperial battle fleet. Starlight glinted off curved hull plates that had conquered 1,000 worlds, each reflection a testament to centuries of unopposed galactic dominance. Admiral Krelak stood on the command deck of the flagship Sovereign Spear, his six-fingered hands clasped behind a back covered in iridescent scaling that shifted with his mood. Right now, a dull gray of supreme confidence. Holographic displays surrounded him, each one a window into the target. Earth, a small blue planet that barely registered as a footnote in the vast imperial star charts. Junior navigators whispered among themselves, their translator implants rendering their native tongue into a chorus of clicks and harmonics. They spoke of rumors, strange transmissions intercepted over the decades, hints of technological development that seemed both primitive and curiously advanced. Silence, Krelax commanded, his voice a low resonance that vibrated through the ship's living metal infrastructure. The holographic representation of Earth rotated slowly. Orbital scans revealed a complex network of satellites, but nothing that could pose a genuine threat to the Imperial fleet. Cities dotted the planetary surface like scattered data points, vulnerable, disconnected, ripe for systematic elimination. The Admiral had overseen 312 planetary subjugations. This would be another routine operation. Deep within the ship's computational core, massive data processors began their preliminary invasion algorithms. Centuries of conquest had refined these protocols to near-perfect efficiency. Each step was calculated, each potential resistance mapped and countered before the first weapon would be charged. The Zarkon did not believe in leaving anything to chance. A junior analysis officer approached, her exoskeleton gleaming with rank insignias. "Admiral, preliminary scans are complete. Planetary defense capabilities are minimal. Recommended approach is total electromagnetic disruption, followed by targeted energy bombardment." Krelax allowed himself a slight curl of his mouth, the closest approximation to a smile in his species' emotional range. Humans would be neutralized before they could even comprehend the scope of the invasion. Their primitive technology would crumble like ancient dust beneath the Imperial might. "Prepare initial bombardment sequence," he ordered. "Target major population centers. We will demonstrate the futility of resistance." The bridge hummed with anticipation. Weapon systems charged. Quantum capacitors built up devastating energy potential. Targeting computers locked onto precise geographical coordinates. Cities would vanish, infrastructure would collapse, and the planet would be ready for immediate colonization. Yet something nagged at the edge of the Admiral's perception. A lifetime of conquest had given him an instinctive sense for planetary resistance. These humans, they were different. The scattered technological signatures didn't quite match their apparent developmental stage. Random communications intercepted over decades suggested a complexity that defied simple categorization. No matter. Complexity meant nothing against superior firepower. The first wave of attack vectors began to align. Massive energy weapons, each capable of turning mountain ranges into molten slag, powered up with a deep resonant charge that vibrated through the ship's living metal hull. Targeting systems locked in with mathematical precision. What the Zarkon did not see were the silent guardians watching their every move. Quantum sensors buried deep within Earth's crust, orbital platforms disguised as ordinary communication satellites, and a global network of defense systems that had been waiting, preparing, anticipating this very moment. Admiral Krelax allowed himself one final moment of reflection. Another world would fall. Another civilization would be absorbed into the great imperial expansion. The universe was a place of conquest, and the Zarkon were its undisputed masters. He gave the final command: initiate planetary invasion protocol. The universe held its breath. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a subterranean complex hummed with a quiet intensity that belied its true purpose. Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted her neural interface, fingers hovering over holographic displays that seemed to breathe with living information. Around her, a global network of the world's most brilliant minds worked in perfect synchronization, a testament to humanity's greatest strength, collective innovation. The Terrestrial Defense Initiative was more than a project. It was humanity's insurance policy, born from decades of secret cooperation that transcended political boundaries. What began as whispered conversations in classified meetings had evolved into the most sophisticated planetary defense system ever conceived. Incoming quantum signature detected, announced Dr. Marcus Chen, his voice calm despite the magnitude of the moment. Monitors around the central command hub flickered with streams of data, each line a potential lifeline for the entire planet. Alina's eyes narrowed. Years of preparation had led to this precise moment. The Global Defense Network, a system so complex that no single nation could comprehend its entirety, began to stir. Quantum computers located in underground facilities across 6 continents synchronized their processing power. In Tokyo, a team of engineers monitored cooling systems that could process more information in a second than entire data centers could manage in a year. A communication specialist named Aisha Okik leaned forward, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. Alien communication patterns are unusual, she reported. Their transmission protocols suggest a hierarchical communication structure with minimal adaptive capabilities. The room remained cool, professional. These were not panicked scientists, but individuals who had trained for years, who understood that humanity's survival depended on precision, collaboration, and innovation. In Cape Town, a secondary processing center received the first quantum-encrypted data streams. Dr. Rafael Gomes reviewed the incoming information, his team already developing counter-algorithms that could predict and neutralize potential alien technological approaches. They had spent decades studying theoretical extraterrestrial technologies, running countless simulations that pushed the boundaries of human imagination. Defensive grid is at full synchronization, Marcus reported. The neural interface allowed him to communicate with the global defense network on a level that blurred the line between human intelligence and artificial assistance. Decades of machine learning, quantum computing, and collaborative research had created a defense system that was more than just a technological marvel. It was a living, breathing organism of human potential. Alina remembered the early days, the first meetings where global leaders had set aside centuries of conflict to focus on a singular purpose. Climate scientists, military strategists, quantum physicists, and diplomatic experts had come together, recognizing that humanity's greatest threat and greatest hope might come from beyond their planet. Tracking alien fleet composition, Aisha continued, her screen filled with intricate holographic representations of the approaching ships. Each vessel was being analyzed, its potential capabilities mapped and countered in real time. The defense network was not just about stopping an invasion. It was about understanding, adapting, and ultimately protecting human civilization. Every piece of data was an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve. In Sao Paulo, a team of neural network specialists worked on predictive algorithms that could anticipate alien technological responses. Their work went beyond simple defense. They were creating a comprehensive understanding of potential extraterrestrial thought patterns. Quantum entanglement stabilizers are online, Marcus announced. Satellites disguised as standard communication arrays began to activate, their true purpose hidden from any external scanning technology. Each satellite was a node in a global defensive web, capable of redirecting, absorbing, and neutralizing potential threats. Alina took a deep breath. This was the moment they had prepared for. Decades of secret research, of pushing the boundaries of human potential, of believing that cooperation could overcome any challenge. All systems are go, she said quietly. The silent guardians were ready. Outside the mountain complex, the world continued its daily routine. People went about their lives, unaware of the sophisticated defense system that stood between them and potential destruction. Children played in parks, commuters navigated city streets, farmers worked their fields, all protected by a network of human innovation that represented the very best of their species. Humanity waited, prepared, unified. The first alien energy weapon discharged with a brilliant emerald beam that sliced through Earth's upper atmosphere like a quantum blade. To the Zarkon, it was a standard opening salvo, a technological marvel that had reduced countless civilizations to ash in mere moments. Their weapon systems, refined through centuries of galactic conquest, represented the pinnacle of destructive potential. But something was wrong. The beam didn't find the expected vulnerable targets. Instead, it encountered an invisible lattice of quantum-entangled defensive satellites, a network so sophisticated that it defied the invaders' comprehension. Each satellite was more than a simple defensive node. It was a living, adaptive system that processed incoming threats faster than the speed of traditional computation. In the underground command center, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the incoming energy signature with clinical precision. Quantum absorption protocol initiated, she announced, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. The satellite network did something unprecedented. It didn't merely block the energy weapon, it transformed it. The emerald beam was instantaneously analyzed, its quantum signature dissected and redirected. Within milliseconds, the alien weapon's energy was converted into a precisely calculated response that would send shockwaves through the Imperial fleet's weapon systems. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, alarms erupted in a cacophony of alien frequencies. Junior officers looked to their commanders with growing confusion. Admiral Krelax felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries of military campaigns: uncertainty. "Diagnostic systems are failing," reported a trembling communications officer. Her translation implant struggled to process the incoming data streams. The weapon that should have obliterated entire city blocks had been completely neutralized, its energy somehow turned against the very systems that generated it. More energy beams followed, each one a testament to the Zarkon's technological might. Each one met the same fate. The quantum satellite network wasn't just defending, it was learning. Every incoming weapon signature was instantly analyzed, its potential threat mapped and neutralized before it could cause any damage. In Sao Paulo, a team of quantum engineers watched the real-time data flow with a mixture of scientific excitement and professional calm. Dr. Rafael Gomes traced the energy conversion patterns, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "The adaptive response is working perfectly," he murmured to his team. The global defense network was more than a technological system. It was a living, breathing organism of human innovation. Satellites disguised as ordinary communication arrays began to reveal their true purpose. Each one was a node in a complex web that could predict, analyze, and counter alien technologies in real time. Aboard the Zarkon flagship, confusion turned to mounting panic. Admiral Krelax had conquered worlds that possessed far more advanced technologies. But this was something entirely different. The humans weren't just defending. They were demonstrating a level of technological adaptation that seemed to defy the laws of known physics. "Recalibrate weapon frequencies," Krelax ordered, his voice a low growl of frustration. But each new attempt met the same fate. The quantum satellite network absorbed, analyzed, and neutralized with terrifying efficiency. In Tokyo, a team of neural network specialists worked furiously, their computers predicting and countering potential alien technological approaches before the Zarkon could even conceive of them. Machine learning algorithms developed in real time, creating defensive strategies that would have been impossible just moments before. The global defense network represented humanity's true strength, not in individual brilliance, but in collective innovation. Scientists from different continents worked in perfect synchronization, their combined intellect forming a shield more complex than any single nation could imagine. As more energy beams lanced toward the planet, they met an invisible wall of quantum adaptive defense. The Zarkon were experiencing something unprecedented in their centuries of galactic conquest, a total technological shutdown. Admiral Krelax watched in growing horror as his weapon systems began to fail. Each attempt to attack was met with an instantaneous, impossibly precise counter-strategy. What seemed like magic was actually the result of decades of collaborative scientific research. The first contact was nothing like the Zarkon had imagined. Humanity was ready. The Zarkon tactical systems ground to a halt, their computational cores struggling to comprehend the impossible defense they now faced. What had begun as a routine planetary invasion had transformed into a nightmare of technological paralysis. Dr. Marcus Chen leaned forward in the underground command center, his fingers tracing holographic data streams that danced with impossible complexity. Adaptive learning protocols are exceeding projected performance, he reported, a hint of wonder beneath his professional tone. Each alien technological approach was met not just with defense, but with a comprehensive deconstruction. The Global Research Network, a collaborative effort that spanned continents and disciplines, worked with a precision that defied traditional understanding. Machine learning algorithms developed by teams in Cape Town, Tokyo, Sao Paulo, and Moscow worked in perfect synchronization, creating a defense system that was more than the sum of its parts. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, junior analysis officers watched in growing terror as their most advanced weapon systems became increasingly compromised. Admiral Krelax observed holographic displays that flickered and failed, revealing vulnerabilities that should have been impossible. The human technological response defies all known computational models, whispered a senior tactical officer, her translation implant struggling to process the magnitude of their failure. In an underground facility beneath the Andes Mountains, a team of quantum computing experts worked with breathless intensity. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, supervised as artificial intelligence systems, began to not just defend, but actively analyze the alien technological infrastructure. Each intercepted alien communication, each weapon signature, became an opportunity for deeper understanding. The defense was evolving in real time. Quantum computers located across the globe began to piece together the fundamental weaknesses in the Zarkon technological infrastructure. What the aliens didn't realize was that humanity's greatest strength had always been adaptability. Decades of collaborative research, of pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding, had prepared them for this moment. Energy signature analysis complete, announced Aisha O'Keefe from her station in the Global Command Center. Developing targeted counter-protocols. The alien fleet found itself facing something unprecedented. Not just a defense, but an active learning system that anticipated their every move. Weapon frequencies were predicted and neutralized before they could be fully formed. Communication networks began to collapse as the human adaptive systems found and exploited microscopic vulnerabilities. In Sao Paulo, a team of neural network specialists worked on predictive algorithms that could anticipate alien technological responses with terrifying accuracy. Their work went beyond simple defense. They were creating a comprehensive understanding of potential extraterrestrial thought patterns. Admiral Krelax felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries of military campaigns: true fear. The quantum satellite network was more than a defensive system. It was a living, breathing organism of human innovation. Each intercepted alien transmission became an opportunity to learn, to understand, to adapt. Machine learning algorithms developed counter-strategies faster than the Zarkon could conceive of new attack methods. Their computational cores are based on a crystalline neural network, Dr. Rafael Gomes observed, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. We can exploit the quantum entanglement limitations in their primary communication protocols. What the Zarkon had considered a simple planetary invasion was becoming a comprehensive technological dissection. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were learning, growing, evolving with each passing moment. The Global Defense Network represented something far more profound than a mere technological marvel. It was a testament to human potential. Scientists from different continents worked in perfect synchronization, their combined intellect forming a shield that was adaptive, intelligent, and utterly unpredictable. As more alien systems began to fail, the true depth of human innovation became apparent. This was not just a defense, it was a comprehensive technological revolution happening in real time. The Zarkon had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity. Communication became the most devastating weapon. The first targeted transmission struck at the very core of the Zarkon imperial structure, a perfectly crafted message that would unravel centuries of military discipline. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched with clinical precision as the psychological warfare protocol initiated, her team of linguists, cultural experts, and communication specialists having spent years preparing for this moment. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, the first signs of internal fracture began to appear. The message was more than words. It was a precisely engineered communication that exploited every known vulnerability in the Zarkon social and military hierarchy. Transmission analysis complete, Aisha O'Keefe reported from the Global Command Center, targeting specific communication nodes within their fleet's internal networks. The message was a masterpiece of psychological manipulation. It didn't just challenge the Zarkon's military objectives. It systematically dismantled their entire cultural understanding of conquest and superiority. Each transmission was tailored to specific ranks, creating doubt, confusion, and internal conflict. Lower-ranking officers began to question the invasion's fundamental premise. The carefully constructed imperial narrative that had sustained Zarkon military campaigns for centuries suddenly seemed fragile. Historical records of previous conquests were subtly recontextualized, revealing patterns of strategic failures that had been conveniently overlooked. Admiral Krelax felt the first tremors of dissent spreading through his command structure. Communication channels that had always been crystal clear now buzzed with uncertainty. Junior officers exchanged glances, their translation implants struggling to process the psychological assault. In Tokyo, a team of cultural anthropologists worked in real time, analyzing the Zarkon's communication responses. Every intercepted message, every moment of hesitation, became another opportunity to introduce further doubt. They understood something profound about intelligent species, that true defeat often happens in the mind long before it happens on the battlefield. The psychological warfare was multi-layered. It wasn't just about creating doubt. It was about systematically breaking down the imperial structure that had made the Zarkon seemingly invincible. Messages were crafted to exploit generational tensions, to highlight internal contradictions in their military doctrine, to make each individual question their place in the imperial hierarchy. We're seeing significant communication disruption, Dr. Marcus Chen observed, tracing the spread of psychological impact across the alien fleet's communication networks. Their internal cohesion is fragmenting. What made the assault truly devastating was its precision. Each transmission was a surgical strike against the Zarkon's collective psyche. Cultural references were subtly manipulated, historical narratives recontextualized, creating a sense of existential uncertainty that spread like a virus through the Imperial fleet. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, the first open arguments began to break out. Command structures that had been rigid for centuries suddenly became fluid, unpredictable. Lower-ranking officers began to question the invasion's fundamental objectives. The imperial certainty that had defined Zarkon military campaigns was crumbling. Dr. Rafael Gomes monitored the psychological impact with scientific fascination. "We're witnessing a complete breakdown of their collective narrative," he muttered to his team. Each transmission was an opportunity to understand the depths of intelligent communication, to explore how information could be more devastating than any weapon. The global defense team had prepared for this moment for decades. They understood that true conflict was won long before the first weapon was fired. It was about breaking the opponent's will, challenging their fundamental understanding of reality. Admiral Krelax watched in growing horror as his carefully constructed military structure began to disintegrate. The Zarkon had conquered thousands of worlds, but they had never encountered an opponent who understood the true nature of psychological warfare. Humanity's weapon was information, precision, understanding. The invasion was failing, not through traditional military might, but through the most powerful force in the universe, the ability to understand, to communicate, to challenge fundamental beliefs. The Zarkon had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human complexity. The first wave of autonomous drones emerged from hidden launch facilities scattered across the globe. They were not simple machines, but living intelligences crafted from the pinnacle of human technological innovation. Each drone represented years of collaborative research, a fusion of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and adaptive learning algorithms. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the initial deployment with a mixture of scientific precision and barely contained excitement. "Swarm Intelligence Protocol activated," she announced, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. The drones moved with a synchronicity that defied traditional understanding of machine coordination. Where standard military technology relied on rigid command structures, these autonomous units operated as a collective intelligence. They adapted, learned, and responded faster than any traditional weapon system could comprehend. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, alarm systems erupted in a cacophony of alien frequencies. Admiral Krelax watched in growing horror as the first wave of drones approached. They were unlike any combat units the Zarkon had encountered in centuries of galactic conquest. Each drone was a marvel of engineering, developed by teams in Cape Town, Tokyo, Sao Paulo, and Moscow. They represented the absolute pinnacle of human technological potential. Quantum processors allowed them to analyze and respond to threats in microseconds. Adaptive learning algorithms meant that each encounter became an opportunity for improvement. Tracking multiple quantum-entangled units, reported Dr. Marcus Chen from the Underground Command Center. Collective intelligence is exceeding projected performance parameters. The drones didn't just attack, they analyzed. Every interaction with the alien fleet became a comprehensive data-gathering exercise. Weapon signatures were decoded, defensive systems mapped, vulnerabilities exposed. What appeared to be a military assault was actually a sophisticated intelligence-gathering operation. In the Andes Mountains, a team of neural network specialists monitored the drone swarm's progress. Dr. Rafael Gomes traced holographic data streams that showed the incredible adaptability of the autonomous units. "They're learning faster than our initial projections," he muttered to his colleagues. The Zarkon discovered something terrifying. These were not simple combat drones. They were thinking machines that could predict and counter alien technological responses faster than the Imperial fleet could adapt. Each drone was a node in a vast, living network of intelligence. Aisha O'Keefe from the Global Command Center tracked the offensive with clinical precision. "Quantum communication protocols are maintaining perfect synchronization," she reported. The drone swarm moved like a single organism, each unit aware of the others, adapting in real time to the changing battlefield. Weapon systems that had decimated countless civilizations found themselves utterly ineffective. The drones didn't just evade, they anticipated. Energy weapons were redirected, communication networks disrupted, defensive systems systematically neutralized. Admiral Krelax watched his carefully constructed invasion plan collapse in real time. These weren't the passive defenders he had expected. Humanity was launching a comprehensive technological assault that challenged everything the Zarkon understood about warfare. The offensive went beyond military engagement. Each drone was collecting vast amounts of data, understanding the alien technological infrastructure at a level that went far beyond simple combat. It was a complete technological dissection, happening in real time. In Sao Paulo, a team of quantum computing experts worked with breathless intensity. They weren't just watching the battle, they were learning from it. Every interaction between the drones and the alien fleet became an opportunity for deeper understanding. The global defense network had transformed into something more than a defensive system. It was a living, breathing organism of human innovation. Scientists from different continents worked in perfect synchronization, their combined intellect creating a technological response that was utterly unpredictable. As more alien systems began to fail, the true depth of human innovation became apparent. This was not just an attack, it was a comprehensive technological revolution happening in real time. The Zarkon had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human potential. Humanity was fighting back. The Sovereign Spear shuddered. a sound that should have been impossible for a vessel of its technological sophistication. Admiral Krelax gripped the command console, feeling the first true tremors of defeat that he had never experienced in centuries of galactic conquest. Communication networks collapsed first. Quantum adaptive human technology systematically dismantled the intricate communication infrastructure that had been the backbone of Zarkon military might. What had once been a seamless web of instantaneous communication became a fragmented mess of interrupted signals and cascading system failures. "Primary communication relays are offline," reported a junior officer, her voice trembling. The translation implant in her communication device flickered, adding an almost musical undertone to her words of defeat. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched from the underground command center, her team working with surgical precision. "Systematic deconstruction protocol is exceeding all projected parameters," she announced. The global defense network had transformed from a protective shield into a comprehensive offensive system that was now surgically taking apart the alien fleet. Each system of the Zarkon flagship became a battlefield of technological attrition. Weapon systems that had conquered thousands of worlds found themselves neutralized by adaptive human technologies. Defensive protocols crumbled under the weight of unprecedented computational attacks. In Tokyo, a team of quantum computing experts tracked the progressive breakdown of alien technological infrastructure. Dr. Marcus Chen observed the holographic displays with a mixture of scientific fascination and professional calm. "Their computational cores are experiencing cascading failure," he reported. Admiral Krelax experienced something unprecedented in his long military career: total system failure. The Imperial fleet's supposedly invincible technology was being systematically dismantled by an opponent they had considered primitive. Weapon systems failed. Navigation became impossible. Communication became a scattered mess of interrupted signals. The autonomous drone swarm continued its relentless assault. Each drone was more than a simple combat unit. It was a living intelligence that learned and adapted with every microsecond of engagement. They moved with a synchronicity that defied traditional understanding of machine coordination. Tracking complete systems failure across multiple Imperial vessels, reported Aisha O'Keefe from the Global Command Center. The human offensive was no longer just a defense. It was a comprehensive technological deconstruction. Aboard the Sovereign Spear, lower-ranking officers began to panic. The carefully constructed imperial hierarchy that had sustained Zarkon military campaigns for centuries began to crumble. Communication channels that had always been crystal clear became a cacophony of confusion and uncertainty. Dr. Rafael Gomes from the Andean Research Facility monitored the technological collapse with scientific precision. "We're witnessing a complete breakdown of their technological infrastructure," he muttered to his colleagues. Each moment became an opportunity to understand the depths of technological warfare. The human offensive went far beyond traditional military engagement. It was a comprehensive technological dissection happening in real time. Weapon signatures were decoded. Defensive systems were mapped. Vulnerabilities were exposed and systematically neutralized. Admiral Krelax watched his carefully constructed invasion plan disintegrate. These weren't the passive defenders he had expected. Humanity had transformed from a seemingly vulnerable target into a technological force that challenged everything the Zarkon understood about warfare. Quantum-entangled communication networks began to reveal the true depth of human technological potential. Each intercepted transmission became an opportunity to understand, to learn, to adapt. The global defense team had prepared for this moment for decades, understanding that true conflict was won through intelligence and adaptation. The Sovereign Spear, once the pride of the Imperial fleet, became nothing more than a floating monument to technological defeat. Systems failed one by one. Weapon platforms collapsed. Navigation became impossible. In less than 5 standard minutes, an invasion force that had conquered thousands of worlds found itself completely neutralized. The global defense network represented something far more profound than a mere technological marvel. It was a testament to human potential. Scientists from different continents had worked in perfect synchronization, their combined intellect forming a shield that was adaptive, intelligent, and utterly unpredictable. Humanity had not just defended itself. It had redefined the very nature of technological warfare. The Zarkon had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human potential. The silence was deafening. Remnants of the Zarkon Imperial fleet drifted like broken dreams against the backdrop of Earth's solar system. What had begun as a confident invasion had become the most comprehensive technological defeat in galactic history. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the underground command center, watching the final data streams compile. Comprehensive analysis complete, Dr. Marcus Chen announced, his voice carrying a mixture of scientific detachment and profound achievement. In the days following the invasion, the global research teams began the meticulous process of understanding the technological treasure trove left behind. Scientists from every continent worked in unprecedented collaboration, their combined intellect turning the alien defeat into humanity's greatest opportunity for advancement. The Terrestrial Defense Initiative transformed overnight. What had been a secret global defense network became the most significant technological research program in human history. Universities, research centers, and scientific institutions around the world received unprecedented funding and support. Dr. Rafael Gomes from the Andean Research Facility led the initial xenotechnology analysis. We're looking at computational systems that challenge everything we understand about quantum computing, he explained during a global broadcast. The world watched, united in a way it had never been before. Diplomatic channels across the planet began receiving transmissions from other galactic civilizations. Some were messages of warning, others of cautious respect. The Zarkon defeat had sent shockwaves through known space. Humanity was no longer seen as a potential conquest. They were now a civilization to be respected. Aisha O'Keefe managed the global communication protocols. Each incoming transmission was carefully analyzed, decoded, and processed. The psychological warfare techniques that had been developed to counter the Zarkon now became invaluable tools of diplomatic communication. The economic and technological implications were staggering. The adaptive technologies developed during the 5-minute conflict began to reshape every aspect of human society. Medical research, computational systems, energy production, nothing would remain unchanged. We didn't just defend ourselves, Dr. Elena Rodriguez told a packed international conference. We demonstrated the true potential of human collaboration and innovation. Global leaders who had once been divided now stood together. The invasion had done what decades of diplomacy could not. It had created a truly unified human perspective. National boundaries began to blur as the full implications of the technological breakthrough became apparent. Research teams began decoding Zarkon technologies. Each discovery was more remarkable than the last. Quantum communication systems that could revolutionize global connectivity, energy production technologies that could solve humanity's environmental challenges, medical innovations that promised to extend human life and eliminate disease. The autonomous drone network that had been developed for defense now became a template for solving global challenges: climate monitoring, disaster response, infrastructure maintenance. The potential applications were endless. In Tokyo, a team of neural network specialists began integrating the captured alien technologies with human systems. In Cape Town, engineers developed new computational models that expanded the boundaries of known physics. Sao Paulo became a hub of xenotechnology research that attracted the brightest minds from around the world. The message sent out across multiple frequencies became legendary, a simple statement that captured humanity's newfound confidence. We do not seek conflict, but we will protect our home with everything we are. Galactic civilizations that had watched from a distance now understood something profound about humanity. This was not a species to be conquered or controlled. This was a civilization of adaptable, collaborative innovators who could turn potential destruction into an opportunity for growth. The Zarkon invasion became more than a military encounter. It was a turning point in human history, the moment when humanity truly understood its own potential. Scientific journals struggled to capture the magnitude of the technological leap. What had been developed in those 5 critical minutes would reshape human civilization for generations to come. The Global Defense Network became a template for international cooperation, a model of what humanity could achieve when working together. Dr. Elena Rodriguez looked at the final compiled data. 5 minutes had changed everything. Humanity had not just survived. They had transformed. Epilogue. The universe watched, and humanity smiled.